And in Georgia, we've got the dismembered wife murder trial for defendant Mindi Kassotis. That one's in progress. We've got the next witness up. This is Lindsay Smith. She's a GBI special agent.
Okay, so her physical remains initially were in Liberty County. Do you know if any of the other remains were found in places other than Liberty County?
Yes, they were.
Where were they found?
In McIntosh County.
Okay, so Liberty and McIntosh?
Yes.
Okay, and when the initial call came in, though, her remains were in Liberty?
That's correct.
Did that impact who you partnered with in connection with this case?
Yes, it did.
How so?
So since we got the request from the Liberty County Sheriff's Office, we would be working with them.
Okay, and when you ultimately, well, let me back up. Did you get to the scene at some point?
Yes, I did.
What day did you go to the Portal Hunting Club down in Riceboro?
I went out that Monday, December 5th.
Okay, and when you got there on December 5th, why did you go there?
We were doing an extensive search that day, and I wanted to participate.
Okay. When you say extensive search, can you tell the jury what you mean by that? What was going on?
Sure. We had coordinated with some canine handlers out of South Carolina, the Department of Natural Resources, obviously some more personnel from my office, and individuals from the Liberty County Sheriff's Office. And so our task was to go out there, saturate the area to look for additional remains that we were still missing and any other evidence.
Was it important to find the rest of her remains?
Yes, it was.
Can you tell the jury why?
At that point, we were missing her head, which is obviously a large piece of the puzzle that would help us identify who she was. We know what she looked like, what her eye color was, hair color.
And at that point, did you have any idea who she was?
We did not.
Had steps already been taken to try and identify her?
On the 5th?
As of even the first day?
Yes.
Okay, but had they yielded any results?
No, they had not.
Okay, so when you get out there on December 5th, can you tell us who was present at the scene?
Tracy Sands was out there, our crime scene specialist, Brett Dickerson. There was a representative from Department of Natural Resources, I believe 3 canine teams, and some members of the Liberty County Sheriff's Office. I don't recall specific names.
Okay, and you mentioned Special Agent Dickerson. Did you assist him at some point on that day in the course of this investigation?
Yes, I did.
Can you tell the jury what you did to assist Agent Dickerson?
Sure. He had collected a sample of maggots from the left leg that we had found. Those maggots needed to be boiled, essentially, so I was able to perform that task.
Okay. Was he able to do that out in the field?
No, he was not.
So did you physically take them somewhere to do that?
I did. I had contacts in the area that were able to provide me with this outdoor kitchen, so to speak, where I was able to heat water and then pour the boiling water on top of the maggots.
And that processing, did you receive any guidance, without telling us exactly what was said, did you receive any guidance on how to perform that task?
Yes, I did.
Who did you receive that guidance from?
It was through Agent Dickerson, but from Dr. Mondor.
Okay. And do you know what his role was in this case?
He's an entomologist that works for Georgia Southern University that we consult with sometimes.
Okay. And when you boiled the maggots, what did you do with them afterwards?
I went back to the crime scene and turned them over to Agent Dickerson.
Okay. Did they remain in your custody the entire time that you went to process them before you returned them to Agent Dickerson?
Yes, they did.
And so when you gave them to Agent Dickerson, he was the last person that had them after you?
That's correct.
Do you know if they were submitted at some point to Dr. Mondor for review?
Yes, they were.
And would the special agent in charge and the assistant special agent in charge have to manage somehow the funding for taking care of that?
Yes.
Okay. Does the Georgia Bureau of Investigation Crime Laboratory have the ability to do that kind of testing itself?
No, they don't.
So that would have required you to go somewhere else?
That's correct.
In your career, how many times have you had bugs processed?
That was the first.
Why did you do that?
To preserve them as they were, so that we could get a better timeline on how long the remains had been in the woods.
As of that date, December 5th, did you have any idea exactly how long they were in the woods?
No, we did not.
So what would Dr. Mondor be able to provide you in terms of that you were hoping to accomplish?
A date range of how long they had been out there, particularly when they were placed there.
Tough case. This really is to work. We're going to hear more from this GBI investigator right after the break. Thanks for being with us. We'll be right back. Back to court in Georgia. I want to take you now. We've got a GBI special agent on the stand.
Now, when you learned that the deceased in this case, Mindi, had been dismembered, did that cause you any concerns for the investigation?
Yes, it did.
Why?
At that particular time, we still did not have her head, which was going to be useful in identification.
Did you contact anybody once the head was recovered?
Yes, I did.
Who did you contact?
I contacted the GBI's forensic artist, Kelly Lawson, to request some assistance with the photograph at that time.
Okay. And can you tell the jury what would the forensic artist have to do with this case?
So initially, I received a photograph from the autopsy of the face of Miss Mindi. And my initial request to the forensic artist was to ask if she could make the picture look better so that it could be released to the media. And that was not an option in this case. So what we did was have her basically draw an image to be used to release for the media.
So if you had had a, for lack of a better word, non-traumatized face, would you have released that photograph?
It's possible, depending on how it looked.
So it's the condition of the body?
That's correct.
Okay. So in this case, given the condition of the body, you were not able to do that?
That's right.
Okay. So did you provide anything to Kelly Lawson, the forensic artist, in conjunction with your request?
Yes, I sent her the photograph that we obtained from the autopsy.
And if you know, was that head modified in any way during the course of the autopsy in terms of the photograph you received?
It had been cleaned, but other than that, nothing else.
Okay. And did you give her any other details concerning the appearance of the deceased?
Yes, I did.
What did you provide to her?
We were able to provide height, possible weight, and the hair type, essentially.
Okay. Did you discuss with her eye color?
Yes.
What eye color did you tell her?
We told her brown at the time.
And you say at the time. Why did that change at some point?
It did.
Why?
I don't know the scientific reasoning behind it. During autopsy, the eyes appeared to be brown. I do believe they were naturally a different color.
Okay. Would Dr. Lehman be able to explain that as he did to you at some point?
Yes.
Okay. And I say Dr. Lehman, who was he?
He was our medical examiner who performed the autopsy.
Okay. So initially, you simply thought the eyes were brown.
That's correct.
Okay. And so when that information was provided, did that include that information to Ms. Lawson?
Yes, it did.
Ultimately, did you ever receive a drawing back from Ms. Lawson?
Yes, I did.
Can you explain to the jury what you did with that drawing?
Sure. We were able to create a flyer, per se, with the photograph on it and some additional identifying information, and then we've included our phone number and ways to contact the GBI should someone recognize the picture.
And do you know what day that was that you received and posted, so to speak, that flyer that you just referred to?
So I received the flyer on December 11th, which I believe was a Sunday, and it went out to the media that Monday, the 12th.
Okay. And that was in 2022?
Yes.
Okay. And as a result of receiving that and posting it, did you receive any leads or tips from people seeing that photograph?
We did receive some leads.
Okay. Tell us how you managed those tips coming into the GBI.
We have an intel analyst assigned to our office, and she was able to maintain a spreadsheet with the information that we were getting as the calls came in. We received tips from over 17 states across the country.
Okay. Were you fielding those tips and investigating them?
I believe I may have taken a call or two, but mostly that was being handled by a case agent and the intel analyst.
Okay. When those tips started coming in, did you ultimately identify her through the tips?
No, we did not.
So subsequent to that first photograph, did there come a time when there was a second drawing?
Yes, there was.
When was the second drawing?
If I can refer to my notes, that was on January 3rd.
On January 3rd, did you receive a second drawing?
Yes, I did.
Who did you receive it from?
From Kelly Lawson.
Okay. And when Ms. Lawson sent you that drawing, tell the jury what you did with it.
We submitted another flyer with some additional information and put it out to our media.
Okay. Did that also get posted to the public media?
Yes, it did.
Did you receive additional tips?
Yes, we did.
Did you do any better with the second drawing than the first?
No, we did not.
No identification?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to show you what I'm going to mark as 1.16.
Yes.
I'm not going to show this because it's a manual photograph, so I'm going to ask the jury when ultimately I publish it, just to keep it so that it can't be seen. May I approach?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm showing you what's been marked as 1.16. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
What do you recognize that to be?
That's the photo that was taken at the autopsy that was provided to Kelly Lawson.
What is it a photograph of?
It's a photograph of Mindy's face.
Okay. Is that her whole head?
That's her face. The neck is not in the photograph.
Okay. Is that a fair and accurate duplicate of exactly what you sent to Ms. Lawson?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, at this time I'd like to tender 1.16.
No objection, Your Honor. It's in the...
Your Honor, at this time I'd like to publish that to the jury.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, let's pause this GBI agent's testimony right here. I'm going to bring in our legal analyst guest. She's an attorney. She's a retired Air Force judge, advocate general, retired at the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. Sally Stutton on the show with us to give some analysis. Sally, I wanted to really ask you about your opinions on what the state is alleging here. They're alleging that this man, who was a JAG officer, used his training, his background, his experience, his smarts, all of it, to try to distance himself from the crime. We don't know if he did this. Obviously, he's cloaked in the presumption of innocence. But I'm wondering if you can see, based on your experience and what you've done throughout your life and your service, if this argument makes sense to you, that he might have been able to use that training to his advantage if he did these crimes.
Yes, absolutely. I hope that they will put testimony on the stand to his background and his training in the Navy, both as a JAG. It's my understanding that he was a prosecutor when he was in the JAG Corps, and he may have been a defense counsel as well. And also his training for when he went to the combat zone. There are very different types of training, but when you become a prosecutor, you go to different types of schooling, and they teach you in the art of trial and how you're going to present your evidence. And you work with different agencies, you work with the NCIS, and they walk you through fingerprinting, and they walk you through crime scenes, and they tell you how defendants or accused, as we call them in the military system, what they do to cover up their crimes and how you go about proving your case. So yeah, you do get very good training in how to prove your case or how to defend it. Like any other profession, you get training in it. And of course, you would get training when you're going into a combat zone and how to kill people. So he would be very well versed in both covering up and in, when you're in the military, your objective is to win wars, and sadly that means killing the enemy. So, and I'd like to point out, his defense is that he was in danger from James McIntyre, but they haven't yet pointed out what that danger was. And the defense, the prosecution is saying that his motive was as old as time. It was money. He owed $1.5 million to his ex-wife, and as we've heard, he married for the third time. So there was another woman in the picture. Two very common motives for killing a wife.
Right, Sally, exactly. Money and lust. There it is. You hit the nail on the head. And, and with respect to the boogeyman, Jim McIntyre, if he exists, maybe not, knowing what kind of a guy this is, I don't know him, but, I know you. And as beautiful as you are tough. I wouldn't be afraid to go anywhere with you. You have got some serious training. You know what to do with a weapon. So if somebody were to try to intimidate you and call you up and say, hey, Sally, I'm with the FBI and you got to go on the run and I'm going to hold something over your head, like, you wouldn't be afraid for a second. I'm going to report this and I'm going to handle this. Does the fact that he didn't report it stand out to you as suspicious?
Yes, very suspicious. He has many different agencies. If this happened while he was in the Navy, he has many different avenues to go to in the service and outside the service. If somebody called me and said, you're in trouble and you're in danger and your family's in danger, and I'm from the FBI, I wouldn't just take the word for it. One, I'd have to meet with them, and I'd have to meet with other people from the FBI. And I would go to law enforcement. I would go, if I was still in the Air Force, I'd go through my Air Force channels. It's preposterous to me that someone who has been in the military, has been trained, who's been through, I would assume that having gone to Iraq, he had a security clearance. You have to be vetted for that he would just take this person's word and say, okay, I'm going to go on the run with my family. And again, the defense hasn't presented why they were in danger, why they had to be on the run. So I don't know if that's going to come up in their defense case, but in the opening, all they said was that he was in danger and he had to go on the run, which again is very suspicious since there's only one alleged person from the FBI that told them this, and they went on the run apparently for an extensive amount of time. And your previous guest did point out something about his third wife, that he would have been charged with bigamy. And how could he have a third marriage without knowing that his second wife was already dead?
Right, exactly. A really sharp analysis from you, as always. Sally Stutton, thank you kindly. We're going to hit a break. When we come back, we're going back into the courtroom together live. A woman's remains found scattered throughout a 3-mile area.
Now, a former naval officer stands trial accused of killing his wife.
The Dismembered Wife murder trial. Live coverage today on Court TV.
Vegas, stand up! Friday nights, the WNBA is on Ion. The Liberty face the Wings. Then, the Aces host the Storm. She was feeling it. Coverage starts Friday at 7. Find Ion wherever you watch. Ion, it's on.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Julie Grant. Let's get you back in the courtroom in Georgia. We've got GBI Special Agent Lindsay Smith on the stand. This is On Direct.
Was that the photograph that was made into the first flyer?
Yes, it is.
And I'm now publishing 1.18. Was that the second photograph that was made into a flyer?
Yes, it is.
At some point, were there side-by-side flyers as well?
Yes, I believe so.
And ultimately, you indicated that you would receive tips on both of those photographs,
That's correct.
but no results?
Not to identify as her officially, no.
Did you investigate other individuals other than Mindi Kassotis potentially being the deceased?
Yes, we did.
Were there more than one? Do you have any idea approximately how many?
I would say anywhere between 75 to 100.
So you ran down a lot of leads?
Or my office did.
Not you personally, my
Yes.
apologies.
Nope.
The GBI?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, when you wound up with no results from the forensic sketches and from all these leads, what did you do next?
So I reached out to another special agent in charge within the GBI who had had success in identifying an unidentified individual. He put me in contact with an FBI agent.
And why did you call the FBI?
They were in the process of doing some genetic genealogy testing, and I reached out to him to see if he could help us with this particular case.
Do they normally help you? Not disrespectfully, but I mean, do they normally work as your partner unless requested?
No, they don't.
Okay, so in this case, you reached out for assistance?
That's correct.
Okay. Did they explain anything to you about procedures for following through with that?
Yes, there were some steps that we had to take before they would take on the case, which included providing details about what we were dealing with, what the investigation had uncovered at that point. There were some other processes that had to be undertaken where some data would be entered into some databases.
Can you explain to the jury what VICAP is?
Sure. It's the FBI's Violent Criminal Apprehension Program. Essentially, it's a database that collects information from law enforcement and compares it to other cases to see if there are similarities or connections.
And what is NamUs?
That's the National Unidentified Missing Persons System.
Okay. And what does that database do?
It also collects information from loved ones and law enforcement about missing and unidentified individuals to see if they can also make connections that, with other cases that are entered into the database to hopefully resolve those cases.
Did either VICAP, and just for the record, VICAP, or NamUs, NAMUS, did either of those ultimately yield a result that assisted you?
No, they did not.
And after going through that documentation process with the FBI, who did they put you in touch with?
Gene by Gene.
How do you spell that?
GENEBYGENE.
So gene, like as in a gene in the DNA?
That's correct.
Okay. And what kind of a organization or company is Gene by Gene?
It's a private forensic laboratory.
Okay. What kind of testing do they do?
They do a genetic genealogy testing.
And how is that withdrawn? Is that something available from the GBI Coastal Crime Laboratory?
No, it is not.
Is that available by any GBI laboratory?
No, it is not.
So you had to go to a private laboratory to be able to try the genetic genealogy?
That's correct.
And as a result of that process, did you have to provide them with information about your case?
Yes, we did.
Specifically, what did you provide them in connection with this case?
I'm not sure we actually provided them with information about the case, but we did have to send them a sample of blood that was obtained from the autopsy.
Okay, and that would have been...
All right, we're going to pause it right here. I want to get some final thoughts from our guest this morning. So happy to have had on the show Lieutenant Colonel Sally Stutton, a JAG officer who served in the Air Force. She's also got her LLM. This guy was a JAG in the Navy until he decided to leave his position for reasons unknown. Sally, as I'm looking at him, of course, he looks like one of the lawyers he is. He's dressed perfectly for trial, as you can see. I keep thinking about how I wonder if there's going to be a different expectation for him in the minds of the jurors in terms of maybe wanting to hear from him because he is so smart, because he is accomplished and decorated. What do you think about that? Do you think some of these people might be thinking, oh, maybe he'll get up here and talk to me?
I think so. I think they are really going, now, whether he testifies or not, of course, as you know, is his decision, but I think they're going to want to hear his explanation of James McIntyre and why they were in danger and why they were on the run from his own lips, and that he had nothing to do with this. And I think there will be a significant expectation that he will testify, and I don't see how he doesn't testify, although we have a lot of the trial to get through, and we'll see how it unfolds. I'll be really interested to hear his ex-wife testify.
Ooh,
but yeah, I think they definitely want him to testify.
Me too.